Buenos dias. Okay, so let's see. All the buttons. See, you know what? I get used to doing the money map stuff where Eric and Brandon do all the heavy lifting. And then when I got to touch the buttons, woo, not so easy. Let's see who's over here. Scorpion, what's up? Gordon Bennett over on Theta. And let's go over to the YouTubes. Todd B, what up? Debbie, Tiffany, now Grant's Artist, what's going on? Something wrong with Nunet. No. It's dumping because a lot of, you guys remember when I said, if you disproportionately favor the smaller holders instead of the people that have been behind the project from the very beginning, what do you get? You get bad behavior. There's a reason why some people invest heavy in projects and stay with it, and other people are here and there and gone. The smaller holders, as much as you want to socialize the winnings and all that, it is an incredibly flawed idea because they will take their free tokens and sell them immediately. That's what they're doing because they have zero belief in Nunet. So all of these small, I guarantee you it's disproportionate. The amount of small bag holders are selling more than the bigger bag holders. Why? Because the bigger bag holders are believers in AGI, Singularity Net. They're believers in Singularity DAO, most likely. They're believers in Nunet, and they're going to hold. So this is what you get when you don't do the right psychological math. You shower tokens on idiots. We're going to talk about idiots today. And those idiots sell, and you get the price getting crushed and crushed and crushed. So on the other side of it, the good side, if you miss Nunet in the token sale because you couldn't participate and it skyrocketed up and you feel like you got left behind, you can go grab some tokens on the cheap. I am going to build a position in Nunet. I don't have a big one. I have a pretty big one. Well, it's hard to say. But I'm going to build a big one equal to my position in AGIX, which is not small. And I'll continue to get punished with their social equivalent do-gooder airdrop stuff, which that's fine. That's not the same. Ben Gortzel didn't design the airdrop, so he's doing other stuff that's much more important. It is what it is. Okay. So yeah, you're going to see, anyway, we'll get into it. Bobby, what's going on? Breakfast Leadership. Grace. Suze. Nara in the house. What up? Drossify News. Michael. What's going on, Michael? Michael, man, let's get that. See, that M is cool, man, but wouldn't it be cooler if you had a really cool image, profile image right there, a little PFP right there? Lydia, there's no way I'm going to get your name right. Lydia Crypto. Anyway. All right. Scorpion. What up? Pew pew. Michael, Bitcoin can't see. Look at those beautiful images. What? OG. You guys should be getting shirts and jackets and all that kind of stuff should be arriving. Cisco, what's up? Hola, ¿cómo estás? Tim, Michael, other Michael. Not that any Michael is above or beneath any other Michael. You are all equal Michaels, in my opinion. Chris, what's going on? Joe Fernandez. Amy, what up, Amy? Florida Dan in the house. Does YouTube, wait, why doesn't YouTube email us that you were live? I don't know. You may have to go, when you subscribe to the video, there's also another button that has a little bell. You have to click the bell in order to get notified. Bam. Okay, Casperia Cloud, what up? Our chick. What's up, Mike? Says something to say someone's an idiot because they have fewer currency units. No, I'm not saying they're an idiot because they have fewer currency units. You're not getting what I'm saying. I'm saying that you're going to see the way they did the Nunet distribution was if you had a bigger portion of AGIX tokens, you got a smaller percentage of the airdrop, meaning big bag holders got punished. It was part of their anti-whale maneuvering. Well, in doing that, they got a lot of the fly-by-nights that don't really care much about the project, that are just looking to flip the tokens at 3 cents. Talk about a dummy. When that thing hits $1 or $2 3 years from now, how stupid are those people going to feel? Oh, probably the same amount of stupid as the same people that sold Bitcoin at $1.25. Oh, haha, I got a 10x. I bought it at 10 cents. I sold it at $1. Right. Well, it's $41,000 right now. Well done. Why are people in crypto if they don't want the multipliers, if they don't want the multiples, they just want to get a 2x? Please, what are you even wasting your time for? Wrong market. And if you just think about it for a second, statistically, the smaller positions are selling more of their tokens, which means they have less belief in the future of NewNet. Is that what NewNet wants? Did NewNet institute the anti-whale airdrop how does that benefit them if people start dumping the tokens? Oh, it doesn't. And that's why we're talking about why is everyone dumping the tokens? If they had given an even, I'm not asking for anything special, but everyone should get an even percentage. You shouldn't benefit from having a smaller or a bigger bag. It's silly. It's silly. I don't like being punished. Well, guess what? I didn't get punished. I broke my position down into a bunch of small bags of AGIX. I have like 10 MetaMask wallets. They didn't punish me, but they punished everybody else that didn't want to go do that. So I spent an extra 2 hours setting up all these stupid wallets, staking every one of those stupid wallets. So I didn't lose anything, but you shouldn't have to do that. I should have, if I have one wallet with whatever X amount of tokens, I should get the same percentage as another person with a wallet with X amount of tokens, even if it's 1/10 or 1,000 times that. You punish the people that support your project. That's stupid. There is no way that works out right. If we're in a decentralized environment where our dollars are our vote, why is any other person's vote less important? All votes should be equal votes. You don't have super votes, but you're creating super votes by anti-whale maneuvers. It's just stupid. That kind of thinking, that kind of let's socialize everyone kind of thinking, it's just poor thinking, period, full stop. There's no way you can rationalize that as being good behavior ever. There's no game theoretical way. There's no psychological way. It never, ever. Go listen to Jordan Peterson. You might not like what he has to say, but go listen. Let's see. Need sticks. Well, sticks are hard to get. So real quick word on the sticks. Oh, by the way, you guys see what this is? This is one of the Snuggle Buddies. I really like these. And by the way, if you're an OG sticks holder, I can get you a whitelist spot. They're only doing 500 of these. This isn't like a big 10,000 piece launch. They do each one of these let me just go here. They do every one of these pieces. It's not a generative. They make these by hand. All of them, every one of them made by hand. And it's a real cool process. You can go, if you look up Snuggle Buddies, they have this cool video and it shows like how they do it. It's really neat. And it's just a lot of art. There's a lot of time and effort that goes into it. So I like it a lot. And it reminds me of being a kid, having like a little squishy little doll and all that kind of stuff. And it's cool. So anyway, I like stuff like this. I like cool artwork. It might not be your cup of tea, but I like it. So I'm going to get one. And if you're an OG sticks holder, they've told us they'll give you whitelist. So on Telegram, for those of you that are not part of the Telegram, you should go join the Telegram group. I can, if you DM me your wallet, which there's nothing, not your private keys, damn it, but you're just your wallet, then I can take that wallet and I can get you, I'll send it over to the peeps over there and get you whitelist status. So join their Discord. And once you've joined the Snuggle Buddies Discord, and one of my videos I have with the stuff. Anyway, then give me your MetaMask wallet or whatever wallet you want to use for these. Cool. Anyway, I'm going to get one. They're only doing 500. So it's not like everybody won't have one. And by the way, we're doing a bunch of little things like that where the OG sticks holders. And so there's only 20 right now. There's 5 more pieces. We're going to airdrop those to the original sticks holders. You may be able to pick one up on the secondary market if you want, but we will do a generative drop later. What we're trying to do now is get all the shirts and stuff out because we got shirts and jackets for all the original holders. Then we are doing, we're going to start doing weekly calls. That'll just be kind of like the options class was, where it'll be just open, ask questions. It'll be a private stream where you can actually ask more specific questions, as specific as you want. Well, that'll be really cool. But we're building out a bunch of educational stuff. So the next thing is I'm going to have to learn how to do a Discord. I'm educating myself in Discord tech. Eventually, we'll need to get some people that can run the Discord, some community managers. And then when we do the generative drop, everybody will get taken care of out of that. But for now, we just want to build like a little cool place that people can go and learn crypto stuff. Let me say hello to Askus, Roro80, and General Kaizen. What's going on? What do you think the best crypto to buy with $100 is? Well, the cool Roro, you don't need to think of it that way. Think of it in percentages. With $100, you can still buy a full portfolio. You can get, 25 to 30% store of value, which is like Bitcoin. You can still get about 50% spread out in your protocol layer assets. By the way, for everybody that doesn't know, on Coinbase now, you can go and you have an advanced trading function on the regular Coinbase. You don't need to use Coinbase Pro. On regular Coinbase, go to advanced trading. It lets you do limit orders and the fees come down. So now you're getting the best benefits. So the regular Coinbase, just Coinbase, the blue one, is good now because they allow the advanced trading features. Don't use market orders. Always limit orders because you know exactly what your exposure is going to be to any trade. Great. Jari Joe, what up? Okay. Sylvia, good to see you. Good to see you. I get that a lot. Good to see you. Bam. Johnny Midas, where are you at? He didn't say where he's at. He's usually floating around the LA area or the outer satellites. Okay, let's see. Good morning. Good morning. Wind moon, exactly. Not until every last idiot's washed out of the market. I found a great article. I got to give it up to Garrett. So props to Garrett. If you haven't listened to him, you can listen to him on Monday Morning Live. He usually comes on right after me, Tuesdays, Thursday, Fridays. He's awesome. And Garrett, while maybe not the most enigmatic speaker, that dude knows facts. He reads 24/7. He has a lot of good information. You would benefit greatly if you spent some time listening to Garrett. At least once a week, you should go check him out. So if you're watching the Money Map show live, we have Alternative Wealth Daily on Money Map. Go and watch Garrett right after. It's good stuff. Okay. CC Brown, hello. Cheer Sub. Jim, Brady, Tube That Pipeline, what up? Ooh, well done. Well done with the snuggle. Well done with the snuggle. We could go on and on about NFT stuff. I love the NFT stuff, even though it's completely degenerate. But I really like these. These are fun. I was telling Dino, I said, I want a life-size version of one of these creepy bastards to just have in my place right when people walk in, like, it'd be awesome. All right. YOLO Buck, what's going on? And Frank. Okay, well, now that Frank's here, we can probably officially get it started. Okay, so let me see. So then why support them? Because if we're talking about NewNet, why I'm supporting NewNet is because the people that are building NewNet and the people that are launching the technology and AGI, they're not the people that designed the airdrop. That's a separate group of people that's their whole thing. As they built out the launch pad and all this kind of stuff, there's just a group of dudes, and I think it's all dudes, but from what I saw, and that's all they do. They're not these higher cognitive thinkers. They're just simply building the software that launches these things, and they're the ones with the input. And I'm sure that they floated this idea because you have more smaller holders than bigger bag holders, and they all whine and complain. It's not fair. I like how we want democracy, we want decentralization until someone with more stuff than us has more control. Guess what? If Bitcoin equals votes, how much Bitcoin you have, the Winklevi have like 200,000 Bitcoin. They have more votes. Is that anti-democratic in some way? No. They bought early. They trusted longer. They took the risk. Therefore, they get more votes. That's what some idea of democracy is supposed to be. Not give people, and we have this same thing in voting. You have states that have more electoral votes than per capita they do people, which is flawed because that means that less people equal more votes. That's not the way it's supposed to work. People equal the exact amount of people. A person equals a vote. So 10 people equal 10 votes. It's not that if you live in Vermont or one of these weird places that one person equals 7 votes. That's stupid. Socializing these airdrops is stupid. Any of that behavior is stupid. It's no different than subsidizing taxes. It's no different than rent control, which if you play that out, it's incredibly flawed. You want to work that one out? Everybody's like, rent control is awesome. No, it's not awesome if you own a piece of property and inflation, if you agree that inflation is 7%, let's say it is, whatever it says. Okay, it's 7%. Prices are going up by 7%. Let's just say that. But you have rent control locked at 3% a year. How many times can the cost of everything go up by 7% a year, but you can only raise rent by 3% a year and you still be able to maintain the property? Oh, yeah, that's right. Because in 3 years, your rent control, the rent's only gone up 9%. And in that same 3 years, we're over 21% interest. Not interest, inflation, in prices go up. Okay. So the cost for you to maintain the property has gone up over 20%, but you've only been able to raise the rent 9%. So guess what? When they want new paint, new carpet, new house, new roof, new ceiling, new AC, you can't do it. You can't afford it. And then these places start going into disrepair and you start blaming the slumlord landlords. It's not the slumlord landlords. It's stupid crap like rent control. If you dig into these things and really work through them, you'll see that many of these things are tragically flawed. When a government tries to come in and regulate something that's supposed to be a free floating market, you know what the cure for high prices is? Go somewhere else. Grab your stuff and go. That's the way it's supposed to work. You don't like the price because the landlord raised the rent? Whatever. If you want to say, okay, well, it should be pegged to inflation. It should be nothing. You sign a lease, it's for a certain amount of time. If they raise the rent, go somewhere else. It's not fair. Bull crap, it's not fair. It's their stuff. It's not yours. I'm a renter. If they raise the price and I don't like it, I'll go somewhere else. This stuff. Go listen to Henry Hazlitt's Economics in One Lesson. It's like 7 hours. It's a long lesson, to be fair, but go listen to it. And I guarantee you, your opinion on most of this stuff will change. You realize, oh, wow, what's good for one person is typically bad for many, many other people. Look at the secondary, the knock-on effects. It's not just like what you see right in front of you. When you start trying to manipulate these markets in little weird ways, you get really bad outcomes. So that's another bad outcome. It's all the same kind of idea. Oh, I want everyone to be happy and everyone. Look, man, we're not talking about everyone having access to Medicare or Medicaid or ventilators. So all of these kind of things, when government regulators try to come in and start controlling outcomes, you get a lot of perverse outcomes, weird incentives, and bad behavior. And this is just anti-whale airdrops is another part of that. And it is what it is. Okay. Flying knee. Ooh, sounds a lot like karate. Yeah, the staking is really good. But also, they're giving you funny money tokens that don't really mean anything. So that's, to be fair, you have to have a lot of belief in it. But if you park a little currency units over there and you believe in the vision and it pays off, it's going to pay off many, many, many multiples. And you just look around right now and you look at all the dummies and you go, man, where am I going to get that? I don't know. Because we hit peak idiot. This is something we've been saying for a long time. Starting in 2021, It started with the people YOLOing in. It started with all of the bad behavior with GameStop and Hertz and all of these other, weirdnesses. And you got a year of really bad behavior with people punting their stimmy checks and all that. This has been a common theme we've been saying. Well, I read this really great opinion piece, not really focused on crypto, focused on the traditional markets, where Linette Lopez, she's really good. I've read some of her stuff before, Business Insider and stuff like that. She did a really good opinion piece, kind of an opinion piece, where she was interviewing other people that remained anonymous, a few of them billionaires, and they were saying this is what we see coming. There's a reason that they are billionaires. And it's funny because what they see coming is what we've been screaming, not until every last idiot is gone, right? We are at peak idiot. Well, we were. I think we were at peak idiot in November. Joe Pirate, what's up? JJ Chang, what's going on? M Freeman, please. What up? PL? Well, PL. Play. Man, I think, please? Yeah, it could be anything. Okay. Patrick, what's up, buddy? Because apparently landlords are so greedy. Did you know that did you guys know this? They're trying to create a lazy asset tax. Everybody here, think about this for a second. What do you think a lazy asset tax is? Lazy asset tax is you own a piece of property. You're not really doing anything. You just own it. We're going to give you an extra tax for owning a piece of property that you rent out. So if you own a piece of rental property, even though you might have saved your whole life, that might be your business plan. You worked your way up. You're buying rental units. That's your business. You're an entrepreneur. That's your business. So what they're going to do is they're going to tax you for being lazy. How dare you just sit there and rent people places to live? You snake. You life vampire. How dare you? All my friends are like, man, you got to get into rental stuff. I'm like, why? Everybody hates you, man. The people that rent from you hate you. You can't evict anyone because you're just a scumbag landlord. And even if you could, it'll take you 9 to 11 months just to see a court. There's a guy, one of my buddy, the doc, he has some rental property. He has a lot. And on one of he has a 24 unit, I think. In Northridge. And one of the tenants has not paid ever. Since he bought the place, the tenant has not paid. And he stabbed one of the neighbors. They can't evict him. They've gone to court and they're like, oh, well, there was one piece of paper that you didn't have it, that you didn't fill. Like, but he doesn't ever pay and he stabbed a neighbor. They're like, yeah, you're gonna have to come back. What do you mean come back? It's one piece of paper and he stabbed a neighbor. Yeah, you got to get that piece of paper from the city. I'll see you in 9 months because that's how long it takes to go through the eviction. So this guy's going to live there again for another 9 months, stabbing. I said, why don't you just make that guy manager? Just go the other way with it. Give him a whole knife set and tell him you're now the manager of the properties. Go in and make sure everyone else pays. Take your knives with you. I mean, it's get into rental properties, please. Man, no. Oh, yeah, of course. Okay, Scorpion. Patricia, what's going on? Lazy asset tax. Yeah. Well, and again, we're not seeing monetary inflation. This is not a monetary input type inflation, but we are seeing prices going up, and prices going up hurt people, and there's no way around that. Sniper Princess, hello. Oh, you're on both sides. Well played. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the guts of it. I'm gonna play our little. Gosh, we're at like 24 minutes of just talking nonsense. Cool. Okay, let me roll our little intro, and then we will be right back, and then we will talk about the idiots. Okay, we'll do a real quick look at markets. And flying knee, no, my buddy will not be happy because he was 2 million into it. The thing is, you can't look at it that way. If someone buys something and then resells it, one, go ahead and knock off the tax this is Los Angeles, the huge amount of tax they're going to pay. It's not like they're going to have a big win. Okay. And if you put $3 million into something and you get 600,000 or 700,000 out of it after holding it for 3, 4, 5 years, you roll that back, you made $100,000 a year. Do you think that's a success? $100,000 a year, you're $3 million sitting in any of the top 20 crypto assets would do 10x of that. 10. So that's not a win. And also you can't justify, you can't say, well, he might be getting punished by the government and punished by taxes and punished by the landlords. And punished by the renters and punished by the courts and punished, but he exited for a profit. So it's all okay. It's not all okay. And a 1031 doesn't save you anything because you have to be ready to get into another one. So yeah, you're going to pay the tax man at some point. So it sounds good on paper, but the reality is it's not so simple, because unless he's ready to redeploy that into another rental property where he's going to have another group of renters that won't, what the rental non-payment percentage was in California was over 30% because the governor told people to quit paying rent. Guess what? They raised property taxes on the landlords during COVID. Did you know that? Does that not sound ridiculous? It's not so easy, man. If you haven't flipped a bunch of big, like high-end stuff, there's not just a dearth of high-end stuff to flip into. Look, what you're trying to do is say, yeah, but. No, these yeah, buts don't excuse bad behavior. You're missing it, bro. Yes, you're right. You can 1031 if you find another $6 million place to jump into that doesn't have $450,000 worth of refurbishing and all that. Yeah, you can move into that new one that you'll now have more renters that don't pay, more times the governor says don't do it, more time. I mean, it's not a cure. Look, if I'm good at math, that's not my benefit for being in these markets that is equaled out by all the bad behavior on the other side. It's not like, well, you're good at math though. Yeah, okay, I'm good at math, but that doesn't mean I get punished everywhere else. It's part of the game. No, flawed thinking, bro. I love you, but that's incredibly flawed thinking. You're missing the point. Chalk it up to the game that's not the game. If the game is flawed, it's not a game, right? If you're playing with someone and they already have all the moves written down in advance, it's not a game. It's not random. It's not based on skill anymore, which is why I will not touch commercial real estate. Okay, let's look at markets though, because really who cares about commercial real estate? Okay, the Bitcoin, as you saw, it popped pretty good. Things were kind of getting beat up yesterday because Sundays suck in crypto, but I don't know why this is. Sundays always suck in crypto, but it is what it is. I get the point. A game with rules. Totally. Okay. So the Bitcoin 41K, that's kind of cool. We haven't seen 40. And it was funny because yesterday all these articles came out. Oh, Bitcoin couldn't break 40. Therefore, it's going to break down to 30. Shut up. All these people with technical analysis in crypto, TA doesn't work in crypto. Nothing works in crypto. This is an illiquid market on illiquid exchanges traded by sketchy ass investors on exchanges that are run by sketchy individuals. Who's the best in breed in crypto, that runs exchanges? Brian Armstrong? That's like the most trusted dude. That's not saying a lot for crypto. Everybody that works at Binance is sketch. Everybody that works at FTX is sketch. They're just marketers. They don't have any real products, just marketing. Crypto.com, they were stealing money for years. So think about the winners right now. They're the winners in crypto are the worst of us. This is the space that we're in. It is not so good, but if you can get past that, you can see the future of Web3 and all the things that might become of this, then it looks pretty interesting. Diplomat's commentators say BTC was headed for 11. Yeah, I know, right? Do you guys remember Tone Vase? Where's he at? He was saying, this is like a year, he was like, Bitcoin's going to 1,500 or something like that. Oh, how'd that work out, Tone? How'd that work out for you? Come on, man. Don't listen to technical analysis. It just doesn't work. What you want to do, just listen to your gut. Do your 5 T's. Have a balanced portfolio. And if that doesn't work or it doesn't make sense, crypto is not for you. Crypto is not for everyone. Many of these markets are not for everyone. Yeah. So anyway, Ethereum is up a little bit. It's doing okay. It's still up on the year. It's one of the few in the top that is up on the year. The Cardano, it's at least in the 90-cent range. Where should it be? Well, it should be exactly where it's at. They still have yet to meaningfully launch DeFi. They still have yet to meaningfully work their way into Africa. They still have yet to meaningfully launch smart contracts in a way that we are seeing some benefit. So until we see benefit, the price is absolutely justified. Should it have been $3.20? No, probably not. Should have been $2? Nope. Should have been $1? Nope. It should be exactly where it's at. Why did the price come down? Price came down to where people felt like is fair and justified. And I think this is probably fair and justified. Tomorrow, by the way, Sunday swap. So for those of you that are getting Sunday swap tokens for having staked in the staking pools that allowed you access to those, you will get those, coins, I guess. You can start to claim them tomorrow. Now, my guess is if you own that token right now, I would be a seller. Hard and heavy. I would sell all of that token as quick as possible. Whether you're getting the airdrop or not, I don't know. I have zero faith in Sunday Swap because of their behavior and its continued behavior. First, it was bad junior unaudited code that Charles said, "Whoa, stop. You can't release this." This was like in September. They were going to come out. Yeah, swap. That thing would have completely depth charged, melted everyone. So luckily, they put the brakes on that. Luckily for all of us. 4 months later, it launches and it's broken. As you see, it was taking weeks, days, hours, many days to do transactions. That's not really how Uniswap works. Usually when you do a transaction through Uniswap or MetaMask, it either goes through or it fails within a few minutes. It's not out there for 24 hours and then it fails, or 36 hours, or days. So Sunday Swap is junk. Now, it is visually very nice. I will give them that. Visually, it's really cool. Like if you look at the website, it's cool. It looks good. It looks like kind of clever UI. I like it. Okay. I'm not a hater on the UI. I'm a hater on the actual tech. The tech sucks. And it's not Cardano's fault the tech sucks. It's the guys that designed the tech. Cardano works just fine. Plutus works just fine. Smart contracts working just fine. It's Sunday Swap. And so I think most people are going to sell. They're going to dump those tokens ASAP. And when they dump it, depth charge. And then if you want to build a position in it, because a position in Uniswap did quite well, you wait till it gets sold out as all these people get their allocations through drip drops, by the way, DRIPDROPZ.io. That's where you will go to claim those tokens. And I would do that. And I would sell half instantly. And probably I will sell more than half. Because I have no faith in it. All right, so there you go. And by the way, illustrating the point that the people that are selling Unwind have no faith in Unwind. There it is. I will not sell Unwind. I will definitely sell Sunday Swap. Okay. Other things that I thought were interesting. It had a pretty good week considering, but Polkadot's kind of getting beat up a little bit today, just a hair. But anyway, it's up on the week. Some other standouts, Cosmos, straight green across the board. There's not many of those, right? The day, the week, the month, the 90-day, or the 3-month, and the yearly, all up. Matic, not recently up, but day week up and up to almost 700% on the. So Matic is doing good. How would you scrape some of that potential? Well, I would probably get a position in Harmony in one. They're the ones, they're doing a lot of stuff. It's also a scaling solution. for Ethereum and other platforms similar to Matic. And I think it's the only real competitor. They're also the ones getting into under collateralized lending, which I think is a big deal. That's the way banks do it, right? You want to buy a house, you get a 20% loan or less, depending on, you can get a down payment loan, which is weird. It's like a second loan on the down payment to go on the first loan. That's very sketchy. You should listen. If you have to get a down payment loan, you cannot get that house. That house is not for you. So, I like Avalanche, but I think it's been kind of overhyped and overmarketed for what it's not really achieved. It's more of a VC hype play. And Luna, I'm a little bit uncomfortable with how poorly they did their due diligence and how many snakes they had in their management. Like, how do you not know that stuff? This is the dude, one of the dudes that came from Quadriga that was involved in all that kind of stuff. So I've just had a gut feeling that I just never, even when I look at Luna, I just don't, it doesn't seem that interesting. And then, look, it doesn't mean if I don't find something interesting, it doesn't mean that it's not cool. I just don't personally find it that interesting. I don't read about Luna, read about Terra, read about their ecosystem and go, wow, this is going to change the world. I go, this is a billionaire trying to expand his empire into crypto. It looks more like a cash grab than a fundamental sea change in their thinking. I just don't buy it. But hey, there you go. Look, I didn't like Solana, and look how good they did. They stole 12 million tokens. They lied about it. They got caught. They have a consensus mechanism that doesn't work. They frequently get shut down, I think on 6 different occasions for more than 2 days at a time. So I guess I'm wrong. But you got to find stuff that you like. It doesn't really matter what I like. Hopefully all you get from this is you just start asking questions, and that sends you down a path, and maybe you'll find stuff that you like. Yeah, Tron, God. There's another thing. Tron, people don't, he just kind of, Justin Sun just squanders money, right? Is that dude not the worst money squandering dirtbag? There's all sorts of stuff. I could do a whole show on how he has squandered money that he could have done like really good things with. He's just such a piece of garbage, man. A lot of these dudes that were early, they're not all that clever. They were just early, and sometimes that's enough. Carlson, what's going on? And Willished, Houday, what up? Check out the difference between one versus Matic. Yeah, I don't think you want to be one versus Matic. I think you just want to have them both. I like Harmony One. I like what they're doing. They're doing some really cool stuff. So I've been building more of a position there, like kind of equal parts with Matic, but when Matic and One sold off, like One is half of where it was. I was comfortable buying it at 30 cents. It's at 15 cents. So I am still comfortable buying it. Now, okay, we'll get through this really quick. Yeah, I know, Gavin. Oh God, what a letdown Polkadot has been. Near versus One. Well, I don't think it's a Near versus One. I think Near is a legit protocol layer. So I think you put Near in the bucket, WebAssembly based. You put that in the bucket of protocol layers. So I think it's more like One versus Matic, and then Near is right now what Ethereum 2.0 will look like. If you want to kind of get an idea, Near is dope. I like them both. I think you should have them both, or at least entertain the idea of having them both. Okay, what else was interesting? Render has quieted down a lot. Why? Because Chamath is not out there banging the drum like he was. Why? Because he banged the drum. A bunch of people got in. The price got up to $8. He talked it up, and then the price crashed. So he lost all of those people money. Anybody that follows that guy, that spacky piece of garbage, gets what they get. The guy's a creep. You guys know this, right? Chamath is a creep. He is well-spoken. I'm sure he's fun to talk to at parties. He uses the word disruptive about 450 times a minute. And SPACs are the other scammiest part of investing. And at some point, SEC is going to turn the corner and go after those dudes, because you can't rush the process to ICO by back-ending into it with some little legal, loophole, which is all that is. No bueno. Anyway, so Render has not performed. It's performed great on the year, but it's not performed great recently. It's really been beat up. And would I invest in it? I don't know, maybe for a pop, man. They're gonna wait, and as crypto comes up, they're gonna talk their book and all that. But there's probably better places for your currency units than Render. But could it, if the market goes up, will it get back to $1 billion market cap? Easily. I would say easily. Any of these decent projects. Fetch, in my opinion, really cheap. Is Fetch SingularityNet? No. Do they have the brain power? Absolutely not. But do they maybe have more of the business chops? Potentially. I think they may have more business acumen than SingularityNet. So they're not going to change the fundamental laws of physics. They're not going to bring us the iterative steps that take us to artificial general intelligence, digital superintelligence, any of that, but they may take some products to market that look pretty interesting. So, and they're connected with Fireblocks, which is connected with BNY Mellon. So Fetch is interesting to me. And it's part of, you need the little bucket that is AI is Fetch, Singularity DAO, AGIX, NewNet. That's what it is right now. By the end of this year, there's probably going to be 2, 3, 4 more new companies that have launched, verticals that have launched through SingularityNet and through their launch pad and all this kind of stuff. X2Y2 is one that I no longer believe in. I think it's incredibly sketchy. And it's funny because they just stopped giving the staking rewards for this happened a day or two ago. So I was in their Discord and I said, the staking mechanism has to change. It costs too much money in Ethereum fees for people to cash out their staking rewards and restake them or just cash them out, period. In addition, so I had a bunch of questions that related to staking. These were all math questions. It was just math. I was like, well, the problem is you allow people to take 7 days. The deal is they let you there take your NFTs, and if you list them for sale cheaper than OpenSea, they were paying you staking rewards. And people had gamed the system and they were flooding the market with tokens and everybody was getting paid. Yeah. And of course the token got nuked. And so I was asking these questions like, if you keep doing this, the token keeps grinding down. If you keep doing this, like just based on math. So they immediately froze my account for 24. They put me on a 24-hour freeze for asking math questions. What is this? The Paradise Trippies Discord? I get it there. You say that the team is not functioning correctly. They just bounce you from the Discord because they're a bunch of compliant lemmings, a bunch of keyboard commando, low IQ lemmings. I get it, but that's an NFT project where you expect a big old bag full of idiots to be managing the Discord. What you don't expect is on a platform that's all about that money, right? An exchange where people you would assume have some kind of background in math and staking and DeFi, because that's their whole thing. It's just a copy and paste of looks. So I am not with them. So I sold everything I had. Now, to be fair, I didn't have a giant position. I had like 30,000 tokens. I was collecting their big interest and I had every intention of dumping. So I dumped it. I took as much of the big interest as I could. I poured it back in the Looks token and I'm very satisfied because I consider myself a miner of Ethereum. And so there you go. I'm an Ethereum miner. Wah, wah. So yeah, I like the Looks token. Okay. And then the last thing, finally, NewNet. Yes, our friend to the end, straight red across the board. It's 3.2 cents, bro. If you think you missed it if you believe in NewNet, in the idea of taking all these dormant compute resources and repurposing and reallocating them as a distributed system that could potentially manage a bunch of intelligent, either narrow AI or a swarm of artificially intelligent agents. Eventually, that swarm could look a lot like generally intelligent agent network, whatever. AGI will run on NewNet, which will run on Cardano, which will also leverage Hypercycle, which is the side chain. Anyway, all that stuff to me is very exciting and really cool. And I think we're so early in AI that these kinds of 3-cent bets make a lot of sense. I bought it at 2 cents. I have sold none of the tokens and I'm just putting it in the different staking places. Oh, I was just saying that I sold X2, Y2. Look, anytime the behavior of a group is, if you ask questions, they have to at least entertain the questions. If the questions are legitimate questions, not opinions like what's your favorite color? Blue, screw you. But if you ask questions about math and the community just bans you or puts you on a freeze, why you guys don't like questions about the math, the way that you're giving away these tokens that has already successfully been gamed, and that's why the token dumped from $4 in 1 week to 40 cents. Dude, people got their wealth nuked. Anybody that believed in X2, Y2 got evaporated their cash. Right? This is why you buy with balance. You balance. You don't just pour into an asset. I've been holding looks since the day 2. I will continue to hold it. If they're going to give me anything more than the 20 or 30% you get everywhere else, and I'm collecting Ethereum in the process, I'm an Ethereum miner. I'm cool with that. Oh, by the way, the X2, Y2, they were doing some scammy stuff. I had earned all the way up to almost a half Ethereum, and then the next day, it just disappeared. Gone. Like gone. I didn't harvest it. I didn't get a chance to. It just poof. So that was the day I went to the Discord and I said, hey, what's going on? I feel like the math is not working so well. And they were like, frozen. Account frozen. Or whatever. They said, you're on timeout for 24 hours. I'm like, oh, cool. That gives me just enough time to go and sell everything I have. So when people would rather cancel you than answer you, oh, that's cancer. They cancel and answer. Then you need to exit. You're in the wrong place. You might not get the answers you want, but people should be able to answer questions. It should not be. And this is this whole cancel culture. I went to a coffee shop. I used to go to my buddy's coffee shop. It's one of my best friends. I will no longer go to his coffee shop because of a person that works there. She manages their Instagram. And, you know, in California, the mask mandate in most places is coming off. And so she put out this big thing. Hey, we still wear masks here, blah, blah, blah. I said, cool, until tomorrow. So I go in to get coffee. She goes, don't make me cancel you. I said, what? Don't make me cancel you about the mask. I go, so we got into this little discussion where I said, you can't be morally, you can't take the moral high ground and be part of the cancel culture and threaten to what? You're gonna block me on Instagram? I don't give a fuck what you do on Instagram, you dumb idiot. I love these people that pick up causes. That way they can be like, they can be in this group of like morally just, moral high ground, and then also wave this wand of potential cancel. But you better, and then they can also be victimized because they can take up the cause of the victimized. But when you can't even define who is victimized, who at this point, tell me who's victimized. If you have a restaurant and you say, okay, I'm not going to check, but if you have a vaccination, that's fine. Come in. You don't need the mask. Well, let's get back to being humans again. You know, like enough is enough. We need to move past this. So who's victimized? Oh, but I want to wear a mask. You want to wear a mask? Wear a mask. I don't care. Wear a hazmat suit. But the rest of the world needs to get past this. Enough is enough. So like, yes, no, that's well said. This whole idea of the cancer culture, it's replaced religion. It's religion for people that don't have religion. So they can pick up a cause. They have their sword. They can go fight the good fight. And they can also absorb the oppression that the victimized, you know, it's like I'm a victim too, but I've got this, oh man, we could do a whole thing. Okay. Which is a good lead in to this article that I want to read to you guys. So sit back, everyone. This is kind of a theme that we've been talking about this for a minute. This whole thing. I'm just going to put the quote is good. I was looking through and I saw this quote and I said, man, it's like they're channeling us. Me and Jerry have been talking about this for a minute, not just us, right? Like other people. It's not not the only ones that notice that the markets are pretty stupid. But if everyone at home is sitting on their couch and they get a check and it's more money than they were making at work, A, they're not going to go back to work. B, they're not going to pay rent. Why? Oh, because the governor said don't pay your rent. C, they're not going to make their car payments. Why? Because the governor said don't make car payments. They said don't make any payment. How dare? Oh, and by the way, there's a moratorium on eviction. So landlords, you can't kick anyone out. How do you think that went down? You think was there a bailout for the landlords? No, there wasn't. And just for the record, I'm not a landlord. I don't own anything except crypto. But I'm just saying, it sucks. So when I saw this, I thought, well, this is great. We really did hit peak stupid. I called it peak retard, but I'm not socially correct. Elite investors on Wall Street say privately that the market is about to undergo a cataclysmic shift and many won't survive the washout, to which I agree. So I thought it would be cool if I went through this piece with you guys. The washout is coming. Oh, yeah. So this is cool. This is kind of a cool little picture. And let me see if I can make it a little smaller. I don't know if that's any better. But anyway, maybe it's a little bit more pleasing to look at. So let me go through this piece. It's by Linette Lopez. It's I don't agree with everything that she states, but a lot of it is from interviews that she did with a lot of people in the space. So this is not a crypto article. This is just a cerebral exercise. So every once in a while on Wall Street, there's what's called a washout, a cataclysmic shift in the markets that large swaths of the investment community do not survive. Wall Street is standing on the edge of such an event. So if you want your billionaire tears, you shall have them. So why now? Well, after more than a decade of keeping interest rates near zero, we've talked about this, the flawed kind of behavior in the Fed and the fact it doesn't really matter because the euro dollar system, which is dollars lent into existence outside of the US regulatory system, they don't care. They'll cover the thing. But when you have near zero interest rates, you create, like we were talking about earlier, a lot of perverse incentives, a lot of very bad behavior. And so the Federal Reserve is all but assured to raise rates multiple times in the coming year to fight inflation. Well, they have to take credit for it, don't they? In the world of finance, these hikes are akin to messing with the Earth's gravity. Assets that were once attractive, meaning companies that use cheap capital to grow rapidly without making a profit, all this bullshit growth stories, will be shunned. Some of the investors who ate up those growth stories will go out of business. Some of the funds that ate up those growth stories will go out of business. Money managers, hedge funds, pension funds, family funds, gone, 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 gone. See you later, bye. This is not a drill. This is the beginning of a stock or equity bear market. Now, I'm not sure that's accurate because I don't think the Fed has the guts to do what they clearly don't have the guts. They've never had the guts. They roll over and bend the knee at the first sign of trouble. They are weak. They are born of weak people. They're not intellectually weak. They're intellectually disingenuous, but their moral fiber, their character is weak. All they care about is trading against you privately, which is why all these dudes got rich somehow on public service checks at 180 grand a year. They're all worth over 30, 40, 50 million dollars. Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird how rich these people are that they just have regular jobs like us, just salt of the earth. Anyway, based on conversations with some of the most elite investors on Wall Street, it's clear that this drop isn't a months-long process. It will take a year or more. And then quoting, I think there's going to be a few people who've really gotten over their skis and will get hurt badly. One billionaire value investor told me. Did you hear that last little part? One billionaire value investor told me. We, or at least what I try to preach and espouse, is value investing in crypto, which is difficult because it's tough to ascertain value. But that's why we have our 5 T's and things like that. Silly season is over, folks. Before the pandemic, the most pressing problem for central banks around the world was the meandering recovery from the financial crisis, the great financial GFC 2007 through, let's say, 2012. That's 2011-12 is where the housing market really got nuked. Anyway, growth was sluggish. Inflation was well short of their target, prompting the Fed and others to keep interest rates historically low to encourage banks to give out loans and juice the economy. This is the interest rate fallacy, right? Incredibly low rates don't make banks lend. It's the other way around. Rates are low because banks are not lending. People are hiding in low interest rate products because there's nowhere else to go, because they're not willing to risk. Banks aren't stupid. They don't look at the Fed and say, oh, the Fed must know something we don't. The banks in the bond market know things that the Fed can never understand because they don't do money. They don't understand money. They've admitted as much. They do not cognitively understand money. They don't understand money inputs. And even Alan Greenspan in the Irrational Exuberance speech, most people missed it. He said, we don't do money. Clear as day. Okay. So a side effect of making money easy to borrow was that all kinds of garbage ideas could get funding and all kinds of garbage companies could stay in business. Think crypto. Combine that with lax corporate law enforcement, and you have Wall Street without consequences. And I think that's an important statement to think about. We're in it. Wall Street without consequences, right? Investors were chomping at the bit to pile into companies that used fantastic metrics like WeWork. They lapped up every utterance from billionaire CEOs who promised flashy technology. Kathy Woods. Who's the chick that had the blood test thing that you rub your thumb on something and you get 36 different, it'll tell you if you have all these diseases and all this kind of stuff. And it was like a little magic box. It was nothing. It was nothing. It was all a scam. It was just nothing. Like, and these had huge valuations. Remember, not Tesla, because that's another dumpster fire, but Nikola, the electric car company with no electric cars, with no electric anything. They didn't even have blueprints, bro. They had someone on Fiverr make them some pictures, and they were at one point valued higher than Ford. And they never had any product ever, right? So you have stuff like WeWork. We fail. Billionaire CEOs promising flashy technology, but consistently under-delivering. Like, I don't know, Elon Musk, right? What would they have to do to earn that PE? Wouldn't they have to sell like 7 cars to everyone on Earth or something? That's why he's shooting them in his face. And that was before millions of bored, homebound Americans jumped into the market via Robinhood and other trading apps armed, by the way, with Reddit, armed with their pandemic-era stimulus checks. They bought crypto. They piled into blank check companies called SPACs, those bullcrap we were talking about earlier. They joined message boards claiming that stocks like AMC and GameStop were going to the moon. Awash with capital, companies, especially in tech, saw their valuations leave Earth's atmosphere and make a home somewhere around Saturn. Short sellers were cold. Value investors went into hiding. Why? Because when a value investor sees this kind of crazy market, we tend to regress. You say, why don't I like this? Why don't I like that? I don't like anything really except for infrastructure. Because I can't pick anything else because, and as the next quote aptly states, we were in peak idiot, peak stupid. To quote, we really did hit peak stupid, but peak stupid extended beyond truly, truly stupid and then went to bottom of the ocean, rare earth metals, company stupid, the value investor said. This is the kind of bubble that financial professionals should see forming, one where investors lose sight of fundamentals like profitability and cash flow and embrace a kind of beanie baby zeitgeist. In fairness, on Wall Street, you can make a lot of money. You can make a lot of money dancing to the music at a bubble party, or you can stand by the snacks and watch. What you cannot do is pretend that the music will never stop. None of us that watch this, hopefully, nobody thought this will never end. We will just continue to go straight up. No, we knew people were going back to work. We had, hours and hours of shows where we said, people are going back to work. The checks are ending. The stipends are ending. Evictions will start again. People are going to get a case of act right. And the checks ended in September. October, November, why? Now we're about 8 weeks with no checks. And reality's starting to kick in. We hit November and then the markets start selling off, crashing, dismantling. The memes go away. The junk starts getting repriced. The pandemic handed central banks a different economic problem, inflation, a result of paper-thin supply chains, which I think is the biggest problem, A lack of workers. Why? Everybody's sitting at home with their stupid stimmy checks. And everyone's new habit of online shopping. Why? Because you're at home with stimmy checks. The Federal Reserve's goal is to keep inflation humming around 2%, which, by the way, they have no control over. And in the years following the financial crisis, the U.S. economy consistently failed to reach the benchmark. Why? Because QE doesn't work. Because it's not real money. It's bank reserves. It's Chuck E. Cheese tokens. You can't go buy hamburgers with Chuck E. Cheese tokens. I guess unless you're at Chuck E. Cheese. Do they even do that anymore? Now, thanks to the pandemic, inflation. Now, they claim inflation is coming in above 7%. I don't agree. I believe prices have gone up 7%. I don't believe it's the inflation effect. Inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. There's no monetary inputs. So this is not, as Emil Kalinowski says, price inflation is not the same as monetary inflation. Prices can go up, prices can come down, but this isn't a result of monetary inputs. However, the effect is felt at the household the same. Prices are higher and it sucks, right? The Fed's playbook is to fight inflation. To fight inflation is to pour a little cold water on the economy in the form of interest rate hikes. A little cold water. That means debts get more expensive to pay down and investors start taking a closer look at how companies generate cash. This should do a couple of things. One, it's going to make government debt unmanageable because guess what? The government borrows too, and the government's got to pay that. They've got to pay that back. So it's going to be interesting. Anyway, debt gets more expensive to pay down. Investors start taking a closer look at how companies generate cash, not in 10 years, but over the next several quarters. So these stupid growth stories and all this potential, we're going to create time machines and do all this kind of fancy stuff. That's going to get cold. That's going to get cut back. That's going to get clipped considerably, right? Now is the time for companies to get their financial houses in order because the shift is happening fast. If they can't, well, pets.com, all right? People really got sold on story stocks. One short seller told me, we treated fundamentals like some kind of boomer afterthought, but when the bubble pops, all you have left are fundamentals. My contention is that if you always buy with fundamentals, or at least have a fundamental kind of lens for which you view these things, you're going to be much more likely to withstand the test of time, and these vacillations in markets won't mean anything to you. So that means that all those hot meme stocks, SPACs, growth stories, and garbage crypto need to prove their current business is worth the sky-high valuations or be washed out with the market route, okay? Take, for instance, the most recent class of hot companies to go public. The last few years saw record-breaking M&A activity as companies rushed to hit the stock exchanges while investors were pliant. But the short seller predicted, this particular short seller, that the cohort of IPOs would dramatically underperform the market. Companies like, yes, Coinbase, down almost 25%. Why? Because Coinbase is directly relative to crypto. If crypto's down, Coinbase is down. If crypto's up, Coinbase is up. Now, it's going to be a lagging indicator because it's going to always be last quarter, right? So you could be in a quarter that's going up, coming out of a bad quarter. Coinbase is going to report a bad quarter. Then the next quarter, you could be going down in the market and Coinbase is reporting the up quarter. So Coinbase is up. So you're going to get a lot of that kind of seesaw effect. So always look 1 to 2 quarters back to kind of judge where you're at with, especially with these kind of crypto related equity assets. But anyway, so Coinbase down 25% year to date. Robinhood down 35%. Well, of course, the only part of the word Robinhood that's correct is the first part. Robin, it is a scam. It is an obvious junk. Like, no one should be fooled by Robinhood. Come on. Beyond Meat down 19%. DoorDash down 32%. These were hot when the public was sitting on the couch with stimmy checks. But now we're facing a kind of a day of reckoning. Even the granddaddy of growth over everything stocks, Tesla, is down 30% on the year. You say, well, how can it be down? Because, man, it's stupid. The performance of the equity is not based on any kind of common sense or reality. We are just in this environment where it's all about growth and not about fundamentals, and that always precedes chaos. Now, it doesn't mean they can't reset right back to it. That's the other thing. They can always hit the oops switch and go right back to peak stupid again. This is the thing. Just don't underestimate how weak the spine is of these officials, okay? Let's talk about SPACs. Because of their special regulatory status, the companies that these investment vehicles take public receive less scrutiny than companies going through typical IPOs. We were talking about this earlier, meaning that lax oversight and the historical rush of companies going public via the SPAC, Chamath, and all the other idiots process over the past 3 years likely means there is a buffet of low-quality, scammy companies for fraud finders to investigate. What else happened over the last 2 years that you thought was interesting in crypto? Oh, yeah. Crypto.com pushed up all through marketing, of course, and not through technology. FTX exchange pushed up, not through quality products, just through marketing and sponsorships. You had some protocols that came out of nowhere, pushed by VCs, all through marketing. Very little technology, unproven technology, downright poor technology that doesn't work at all. Zero consensus mechanisms. And yet they skyrocket. Why? Marketing is not fundamental value. Growth stories is not value. Ooh, you can get rich on this is not value. And they always reset. So just understand, if you're in those assets, you are gambling. Be honest. If you're a gambler, be honest that you're a gambler. That's all I ask. You don't have to quit being a gambler. Some gamblers do very well. Most of them do not, but some do. Obviously, some big money's been pushing these stocks. VC money, Andreessen Horowitz. Look at the same names, right? Not just the bored Reddit inhaling day traders who were wooed by meme stocks and the sillier growth stocks or bust bubble that got more convinced even more as even more seasoned investors kind of entered. Seasoned investors were entering these weird positions. Why? Because you go, have I got it wrong? Do I no longer understand value? Has the world changed? I mean, you question it, right? If the market goes straight up and month after month after month, you can't compete because idiots are making tons of money. You start going, am I insane? Or has it switched where the sane have become the insane? And now we're all out. So there's a lot of people second guessing and they got caught up in it. So even seasoned investors, they got sucked into it. What we're seeing here is the removal of liquidity. A hedge fund manager based in Pennsylvania said, the volatility will exist until all of these guys are out of business. To this investor and to many on Wall Street who clung to the religion of healthy balance sheets during the bubble, there's a sense of, well, I don't want to say I told you so, but that's kind of what this is, right? About what's going to happen to those who helped inflate the bubble, right? When I called him during a recent market rout, he was out doing work around his farm. He said, I'm in CVS and Occidental Petroleum. He said, and he explained why the market beating didn't worry him. Who cares if a bunch of garbage stocks fall out of the sky? Think about that. Who cares if a bunch of garbage cryptos disintegrate to dust? Who cares if a bunch of garbage NFTs disintegrate to dust? You're going to blame the developers that rug pulled? It's not a rug pull. You got your stupid piece of artwork. It's not a rug pull. You got your dumb DeFi, your funny money tokens. You were gambling and the dealer left the table. What do you expect, dummy? And yes, I'm talking to everybody that was overexposed in NFTs and DeFis and stupid ass protocols that have no value. That's all of us, man. What do you expect? Right? All this crap's falling out of the sky. Investors like Cathie Woods, perhaps the most starry-eyed of all the investors betting on moonshot technology who've caught fire during this bubble, will soon come to find that precious few are interested in a stock that might quadruple in 5 years if it can't show how it will generate the cash to fund its business for the next 2 years. Woods ARK Innovation ETF made a truckload of money for investors in 2020 until its peak in February 2021. Yes, during the meme stock insanity. Since then, Woods ETF has cratered, losing half its value from peak to current trough. Why? She's an innovator. She's a forward thinker. I like Cathie. I think she's awesome. She doesn't understand money. She doesn't understand finance. She understands technology and she understands innovation and she gets Web3. She doesn't get finance. She doesn't understand the vacillations of macro markets, things like that. That's going to probably hurt her, my guess. And if it's not just a few TV regular investors who are going to be swept away by the market's washout. Billions of dollars are being put to work on ridiculous fads all over the country, from small wealth management firms to storied hedge funds. There's a bunch of Kathy Woods out there that just aren't on TV every day, the value investor said. I would put Tiger Global on the list. In the past few years, some hedge funds have thrown away, hedging. They no longer hedge in favor of turning their funds into venture capital firms. I want you to go take a look at what Andreessen Horowitz recently did. That's a little journey for any of you that want to take that journey. They have, unfortunately, I think, maybe turned the corner and gone down the darker path, whatever. Tiger Global is one of the firms known for aggressively courting startups and jacking up their valuations to astronomical prices so they can sell their crap onto the rest of us. Jamie Powell, writing in the Financial Times, whimsically called it pay and spray. As the NASDAQ falls, it's pulling down private startup valuations with it. In other words, we have a long way to fall. But this isn't 2008 when the collapse of the economy pulled the stock market down. This time the problem is the stock market and its unrealistic valuations and its unending supply of idiot investors with money that should not be in their pocket. Wall Street got high on its own supply, and it's now time for that to come down. There is no white knight. In the old economy, there was the Powell put, shorthand for the belief among investors that Daddy Powell, that Jerome Powell, would let the stock market fall only so far before he made the Fed step in. This idea was calcified as the Fed came to the rescue after the sharp sell-off at the end of 2018 and into 2019. That's not what happened. The Fed didn't come to the rescue. What happened is the Fed keeled, the Fed bent the knee because Jerome Powell got a call to the White House where he got a dressing down by Donald Trump, who said, "Don't you let this market crash, you dick." And he immediately turned course. They were raising interest rates, if you remember, and then they immediately turned course. Why? Because the stock market was crashing. Because if you run zero or negative interest rates for a long enough time, and everybody has borrowed and built bad companies, and governments have borrowed at zero, how on earth can they repay their debt if you raise the repayment rates? They cannot pay their debts. These companies cannot pay their debts. There is billions and billions and billions of loans out there that cannot be repaid. Cannot. So we're going to raise rates 8 times, 9 times, 3 times. You're not going to do shit. You're going to raise 1 or 2 times, maybe twice. And as the market melts and gets nuked, you're going to go, well, to protect the markets and you're going to come out and what you're going to do is you're going to immediately stop, because the whole world is now boxed in to low interest rates. They've all borrowed at or near zero. They cannot afford anything different. So, but what does this mean? Well, they'll wait until you see a lot of people get nuked, bankrupted, pushed out of business, blown up, towns destroyed, bad companies, unfortunately, that hired good people, they will go away. It's going to get gross. Or they will turn tail again, drop rates to zero, and pretend nothing ever happened. So as a result, there's some in the hedge fund land who do not believe Powell, me included, has the stomach to hike rates to the point that inflation is tamed. In a January note to clients, Mark Spiegel, the founder of Stanful Capital, wrote that raising rates may lead to government budget cuts as the federal debt becomes more onerous to pay. Yes. Because of that, he mused, the Federal Reserve won't move interest rates as high as needed to fully rein in inflation. Such a dramatic series of hikes could force potentially painful cuts to the federal budget. Powell doesn't have the guts for that, he wrote, nor does anyone else in Washington. And I agree. I do not think he does. Very few have expressed any confidence in Powell's handling of what they call a central bank, which we all know is not a central bank, contrary to his predecessor. And politically, Biden's focus is more on prices at the pump, not on Wall Street, which may be a good thing. In a recent Gallup poll, 4 out of 5 respondents said they expect inflation to grow over the next few months. In another, half of respondents said rising prices had caused hardships for the families. Well, no shit. Prices are higher. Is that good for your family or bad? I don't know. Bad? Because prices are higher, dummy. Give us some better questions. This is a terrible poll. Get out of my way. I got to gas up my car for $100. That's all to say, there's no one coming to the rescue to save the stock market. There are no more stimulus checks, no more Fed puts. There wasn't really ever a Fed put anyway. No one ever cared what the Fed did except for a bunch of compliant rubes in the stock market. Based on Democrats' inability to pass Biden's Build Back Better plan, BBB plan, come on, no more major cash infusions coming from the federal government. None. They can't pass anything. So even if they wanted to, they couldn't. The good news is that inflation aside, prices going up aside, the real economy is looking, I don't necessarily agree with this, but I'm going to read it because it's the one of her final statements. The real economy is looking better. Wages are going up. Oh, but if prices are going up, are wages going up as fast as prices? No. So wages aren't going up. So it's not super accurate. Unemployment is down. No, it's not. And a receding pandemic should help clear clogged supply chains. That is true. It's going to be a wild ride in Main Street, 401ks for the next 2 or 3 years. But if you can take your eyes off your balance sheet and stay diversified, you'll recover. Wall Street, masters of the universe, however, face an extinction level event. It's good that we're going to see the new Jurassic Park film because it's apropos, isn't it? The end of humanity. Can humans and dinosaurs live together? I don't think so. I don't think it works out for the humans. Hiking rates from their decade-plus doldrums is nothing short of economic regime change. The stock market we had before isn't coming back. It will take a year or two of the highs getting lower and the lows getting lower before bottoming and finally the final shakeout. After that, we'll be living in another world. In the meantime, get your bathing suits on and prepare for the washout. So I thought this was a really cool article. You can find more. I do like the way she creates her discussions. I don't think she quite gets it, but she definitely communicates with a lot of people that do get it. So, and listen, everybody disagrees, right? But I think if you look at this economy, you can't say on the one hand we have 7% inflation, and yet the job market is good. Well, no, it's not good. People are leaving the workforce in higher numbers than ever before. Oh, well, I mean, wages are good. Yeah, but wages are not increasing by higher than inflation. They're not up by 7.5%. Oh, yeah, true. Okay, so which is it? Either we have the inflation you believe we have, and the job market is bad, unemployment is terrible, and inflation is ridiculous, or we don't. But again, maybe coming from a lot of angles here, but I do like the way she writes. I like the way she communicates. So if you want to, Business Insider is where you would learn more about her, Linette Lopez. Okay, cool. So that's kind of my take on that, and her take on that. Just some food for thought. So be smart. Don't FOMO in, don't FOMO out. Look at your portfolios as just creating balance. Be able to understand what you own. If you own stuff you don't understand, sell it, right? Or go to school and understand it. And that way you're not going to stress at night when prices are up or prices are down. Luckily, we're in market right now where prices are pretty good. We're still right around 41,000, which ain't bad. But if this stuff is stressing you out, then you're in too deep. It's okay to sell down to a point where you're not stressed. Don't gamble. Don't go from being an investor to a gambler, right? Go back from being a gambler to being an investor again, and understand that these markets are going to get punished. And every time the stock market gets punished, the crypto market may or may not get punished with it. They're not directly correlated, but there is there's a little causality there. This in chaos, all markets are correlated. They all kind of run in the same direction. So just make sure that you're not getting caught up in the emotional side of all of this stuff. This is not emotional. And if it is emotional, it's because you're too deep. You're too invested. So just back out a little bit. And by the way, anybody that has an opinion different than mine, I think it's great. I don't like to live in an echo chamber. And just because I say something or Jerry says something or anybody that you listen to says something, that doesn't mean it's true. This is just stuff that you should think about. So I could be completely wrong about all this crap. Maybe I am. But my balance sheet has been good over the years. I survived 2018 just fine. Matter of fact, I made money in 2018. I survived the last few months just fine. I'm down a little, but it is what it is. I was up so much in 2021's nonsense that I felt a little uncomfortable. So you de-stress, by lowering your investment in things that make you uncomfortable. Go through your balance sheet. If it makes you uncomfortable, don't say, ooh, but it could do this. Don't have a growth view. Don't think of multiples. You want to just say, okay, what are the assets that I hold that could meaningfully change the future? That's it. That's it. And anything that doesn't make sense, sell it, get rid of it, dump it, swap it, whatever, until your portfolio makes sense to you. And then you can sleep at night, and then you don't care about these prices. And then when they go up, you're happy. And when they go down, you don't care because you're dollar cost averaging through staking, right? You're dollar cost averaging through staking. No matter what happens, I get about 1,000, sometimes 1,200. It kind of floats around of this coin or that coin or this coin or that coin. And I'm like, yeah. And it might be a 3-cent coin, or it might be a $1 coin, or it might be a $20 coin, whatever. That staking, it's like I'm always winning a little bit, always winning a little bit. And the expensive ones, I take the staking rewards and I rebalance into the cheaper ones. So you're kind of playing with the house's money, and you're de-risking and you're de-stressing. Anyway, you got to find a system. So find a system. Hera Henry, what's going on? Charlie Lawless, that's a cool name. What's going on? Kugla, what's going on? And let's see, City Midyanko, what's going on? And let's call it a day. Stay out of trouble, stay in school, don't do anything. My poor, insolvent, drunk, strung out on meth, grandmother wouldn't do. And as you guys know, that's very little. Check us out on Monday Morning Live. You can either check us out live, or we will rebroadcast it around 11. It's about how long it takes me to get all that stuff queued up. Okay, have a good one. Deuces.